Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. The time is 6:30. I just want to welcome you back again for our book discussion with How to Be a God Wife, Not Just a Good Wife. I trust that everyone has had a good week, and I'm looking forward to talking with you all tonight. Last week we discussed the other S word and communication, the key that opens the door. That was our session for last week. And so I'm looking forward to discussing chapter 7. And I'm looking forward to some participation tonight. So thank you for joining me again live for our How to Be a God Wife, Not Just a Good Wife discussion tonight. So God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to this evening. Blessing. I'm going to wait about a minute or so before I actually officially begin for some others to go ahead and sign on. So just give me another minute or so. Thank you. Oh, by the way, our topic tonight is going to be the inner circle, choosing our friends wisely. So we'll be talking in detail in reference to that. So if you have any questions, hey, how you doing, Demetrius? How you doing? All the way from Mississippi, Louisville, Mississippi. How you doing? Oh, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to. I'm glad that you're joining on tonight. Thank you so much for that. I'm just waiting for a couple more people to join on, and then we'll go ahead and discuss it. And like I said, we're talking about the inner circle, choosing your friends wisely in chapter 7 tonight. Chapter 7 is a little bit more detailed, so I don't know if you can have time to get to chapter 8, but we'll see as the Lord leads. So good to have you on. How are you doing? How are you today? Did you have a good Sunday? Also, as I mentioned every week, if you have any questions or comments that you would like to make in reference to what we're talking about during our sessions, please do not hesitate to put them down so we can get them answered and we can discuss them. So just type in your questions or what have you, or any comments you have. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Michelle. Hi, how are you? First Lady Michelle, how you doing this evening? Good to see you on. God bless you. Tonight we're going to be discussing chapter 7, the inner circle, choosing your friends wisely. And so we'll be getting started in about 2 or 3 more seconds. I'll go ahead and start. Thank you all so much for joining in tonight. And thank you guys for your comments in reference to each session that we've done for the last few weeks. Thank you so much. Some of you said you have really enjoyed it, and so that really blesses me. So I'm going to continue to do that every week. Oh, oh, we love you too. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. All right, so last week, as I mentioned, we had talked about the other S word, communication, and communication, the key that opens the door. Those are the 2 chapters we discussed on last week. And this week, we're going to talk about choosing our friends wisely. Okay, and so I thought that was very important. Put my eyes on so I can see. You know how it is when you get up there a little bit older. All right, thank you so much. All right, chapter 7 is a pretty full chapter. So I mentioned last week we're going to be discussing chapter 7 and 8. And so, in doing the review, we may not get to chapter 8 simply because chapter 7 is detailed. Hi, Karen. How you doing? Thank you for watching tonight. God bless you. Okay, I'm going to read a quote that I have at the beginning of the chapter. And once again, if you have any questions or anything, please feel free to make your comments, questions, and then we can address them while we're in our session tonight. Okay? And the quote that I have at the top of chapter 7 says, popularity has nothing to do with how many friends you have. It has everything to do with how truthful, loyal, and committed you are to your friendship. And that's important. I think some people think that because they have a lot of friends on Facebook and a lot of friends on Instagram, and they think that that's what makes them popular or that's important. However, if you really think about it, and say for instance you have 3,000 friends on your Instagram or even on your Facebook page, do we really know all 3,000 personally? Can we honestly say that we know them all? No, not really. We might know a good bit of those people, but not all 3,000 or 4,000 people that we have on our pages, social media pages. And so I'm going to talk about the inner circle because, we have to be mindful of who we have that are connected to us, that are close in our circle. And so prayerfully, it's not like we have 25, 34, 50 people in our inner circle. That's not really the inner circle, so to speak. We're going to go over that tonight as well. Okay, I have here friends are there when we're up, friends are there when we're down. We have things that happen in our life, and then we have those friends. Hello, Shonda. Thank you for joining us. And so we want to know that we have people that surrounding us that we can trust and have good character and have integrity as well. So that's very important because it's pretty much a representation of who we are as far as those who we have surrounding us in our circles. There are some friends that you may talk to every day and some that you may speak to every 6 or 7 months. And you're still able to pick up with them like if you haven't talked to them in 7 or 8 months and you call the phone. It's just like you just talked to them yesterday. That's how some friends are. And I have some friends I may not have spoken with for at least a year, believe it or not. But the minute either one of us picks up the phone, we're able to pick up just right when it seems like when we left off. And it's not like we don't think about it. We think about friends, often. But because of what we have going on in our life and what they have going on in their life, it seems like it's been, we're hitting and missing each other, playing phone tag sometimes, and we're trying to get in touch with them. So, nonetheless, you know who your true friends are. And sometimes in life, you may have gone through some friends where you find out that they may not have been the best friend to you, or they're not really a true friend. So we have friends that are there in our lives for a season in our life. And so, and I believe that God has things happen for us and to us in different seasons and phases of our life. And so that means sometimes you may have friends that you may have had for 10 years or 20 years, and you may have friends that you've become, or acquaintances you've come across that may have only been in your life for a short period of time, but they were there for that season in your life. Okay. Overall, it is always good to choose your friends wisely. We have often heard the phrase, true friends or real friends are hard to come by. And that's a true statement because, once again, like I said at the beginning of the session, you have friends that you know that you want to be able to trust. You want to be able to, if you choose to confide in them, you want to know that the conversation that you have stays with the two of you. You don't have a friend that decides, well, she told me this, but I'm going to share it with Susan over here. But if I tell Susan not to say anything, then she's not going to know why I had said something about her. And so that doesn't work. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Lauren. Thank you for joining tonight. So we have to be very careful with that. Is it someone that we'll be able to trust with our family, with our other friends, with our children? So you want to be mindful of the company that you do keep. Okay. Um, you want to make sure that, we've been talking about being a God wife and being that wife that is pleasing as unto the Lord and also pleasing to your husband. But your husband can also be your best friend. And so, I've often heard that when you marry your best friend, that makes the best spouses. And that is so true. I've seen it in other relationships. I've also seen it in my situation where the people are saying that, he's my best friend or she's my best friend, and they get along so great and what have you. And it's true. You want to know that, when you think of a best friend, you think of someone that you can confide in. Once again, the trust factor is there, and it's somebody that you can trust. And so when you're choosing that mate, that's kind of how you should. That is actually how you should look at it. Someone that you can trust as your best friend. Hi, Patricia. Oh, thank you, Patricia. I'm glad you're enjoying the book. Jocelyn, thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Thank you. So I want you to understand that it's okay that you have, like I said before, you have a friend, and then maybe just that friend for that season. That's okay. You've learned some things from that relationship. You've learned that, okay, for that time in your life, this is when you were doing certain things in your life, and so you move on. So there's growth in everything that we do. So some friends do grow apart, and so that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But once again, you want to make sure that those have in your circle or in your camp, so to speak, are those that you can trust, and they trust you as well. Okay, when I mentioned that your husband should be your best friend, but there's someone that should be even in that relationship, between husband and wife, and that's the Lord. He should be a common friend that you both have that you can go to at any given time. There may be a time when you may be at odds with your spouse. You may be at odds and say, "Well, I don't feel like talking to him right now." Well, and he may say he doesn't feel like talking to you right now. But there is one friend that is closer than any brother that you can go to at any time. So at that moment when I might have a disagreement with my husband, I can go to the Father because I know that whenever I go to him, it's going to be in confidence because I know God is not going to go tell the next person what my issue is. It's going to stay with him. And in the meantime, when my spouse is doing the same thing, God is working on both our behalf. He's showing us how to deal in love with one another. He's showing us how to always respect one another. And that's also important in friendships. You want to know that there's a level of respect, that there's not a line that you're going to cross over because you want to love each other enough as friends to respect each other. And that's very, very important. Okay, there were some biblical examples that I had gave in the book, and one of the ones I thought was a beautiful friendship was the relationship between Naomi and Ruth. And I said here that Ruth and Naomi had a very committed and loyal friendship. Loyalty is also very important when you're talking about having friends and showing each other that there's enough respect that you're going to be loyal to one another. And there's nothing worse than having somebody that's disloyal. That's a hurtful thing, and to have to recover and to deal with that it can be pretty painful. But in this particular relationship, I love it because they came together in a time of despair. They came together in a time of loss. They all lost their husbands, but they were determined to stick together, Ruth and Naomi. Because of Ruth's love for Naomi, she refused to leave her after her husbands had died. Naomi wanted Ruth and her other daughter-in-law, Orpah, to go back to their families for support. Orpah went back to her family. And it doesn't mean that she wasn't loyal, but, once again, there are seasons in our life when people become a part of our life. And Orpah was a part of Ruth and Naomi's life for a season. She chose to go back with her family. And so Ruth was committed to staying with Naomi, and she did that. And their bond grew closer and closer together. And that's not always an easy thing when you're talking about a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. How many of you know that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationships, in some cases, it's not always a great one. And I can honestly say, for me, um, my mother in love, and I told you before, that's how I look at her as my mother in love. There is nothing that I cannot talk to her about. There's nothing that we haven't talked about. She is an amazing woman. We have an amazing friendship, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And so we also share a common bond, which is her son Michael. But I understood when I came into Michael's life the importance that his mother meant to him. So I wasn't the type that I was going to come in. Hi, Carol. Hi, Rita. Thank you for joining tonight. I was not the kind that's going to come in and say, well, I'm the wife now, so you need to just leave her over there where she is in Mississippi, and it's just us now. No. In order for me to establish a rightful relationship with my husband, I need to honor and respect his mother. And I will say I have one of the best mother loves I could have ever prayed for, believed for, and hoped for. She is an amazing woman. And so we can talk, we can joke, we can laugh. Sometimes we sat together when it comes to her son, my husband, in reference to, joking around and kidding or whatever. But the bottom line is there's a level of love and respect there. And I consider her one of my best friends. She's just an amazing woman, a woman of God. And she has a big heart. And that's what I love about her. And I can honestly say that about my mother in love, because she's an amazing woman. Oh, thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much, Carol. And so, with that being said, with the relationship with Ruth and Naomi, I look at how they stood by each other. She was loyal. She was committed. And whatever Naomi had said to her, she respected and she honored that. She took the advice of her. And that was very notable. I mean, that was just a wonderful relationship that they had. In Ruth's case, it was not about her needs or her desires, but about being a help, a blessing to her mother-in-law. She was willing to do what the Lord required of her: love, honor, and respect her. That's so important. And yes, ladies, you can have a friendship with your mother-in-law, believe it or not. And I've seen it on both sides where it was not a good relationship between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Felicia, hello, how are you? Hi, Liz, thank you for joining. It was not a good relationship. And so there was always a constant battle, and that left the husband being in the middle. Here you have a mother that loves her child, but she doesn't care for his wife. Here you have a son that loves his mother, but he also loves his wife. So what do you do in that situation? And I always say this, bottom line, there's prayer. If you don't know what to do or know how to do, you go to the Father in prayer, and God is going to show you and direct you on how to deal with that mother in love, or if you, as some say, mother outlaw, or what have you. And it shouldn't come to. There should be a medium where you can come to, and there could be some agreement. And so there are some relationships where you're not going to always love each other, not necessarily like each other, but you have to respect the other one. And I know how it is. My husband is the only son that my mother-in-law has. And when we got married, I didn't know really what I was going to be walking into in reference to him being the only boy. He's got sisters, and here's his mom. Because I'm telling you, I have heard some horror stories. I mean, some stuff like the sisters are looking to gang up on the woman. The woman has never met him but that one time, and it's like they're going in. This is my brother, and all kinds of mess. But I thank God, I thank God, I thank God that when I met my in-laws, that I was not disappointed at all. And that the love and respect was there every step of the way. And I love that. And so there is a point. Hello there. How are you, Marco Van? Thank you for joining. I am thankful to God that, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, his whole family. I just love that they received me, and they didn't have to, but they did. And so every situation is not the same, but you have to always know that you have to seek the Lord on how to deal with that family. Because what you don't want is to have someone come in between you and your spouse. That's what you do not want. And so there have been times where the spouse has sided with the family and marriages have ended or relationships have broken up because the mother refused to accept the daughter or the mother refused to accept the son-in-law or son-in-law. It just wasn't going to happen. So it made it kind of, made it bad for everybody around, especially the couple. And so that's what you do not want. Okay. God honors us when we respect those in authority. And so, the situation where it came where Naomi told Ruth what to do and how to get the attention of Boaz. And so Ruth honored that and she was blessed for it. And so sometimes we may not understand advice that we may be receiving or getting from someone. It may seem something that's so crazy, so far fetched. And we know the story of Ruth and Naomi when she told her to lay at the foot there where Boaz was sleeping. That sounds far fetched and crazy, right? Hi, Deborah. Thank you for joining. That sounds crazy. But look at the ultimate goal and look what happened. And there was a generation was changed because of that. And so we want to be mindful that sometimes we may not always understand something that's being told to us, or be mindful of the fact that here's an older woman that had a love for Ruth, and Naomi loved her so much that she respected what she said and instructed her to do and was blessed for it. Okay, sometimes God says wait. It is not our season, and we tend to want to hurry a situation or pretend we didn't hear his voice. This causes us to move too quickly, and we later regret that we did not heed to the voice of God. So, are there any questions or comments so far what we've been discussing? If you have any comments or questions, please state them and we can go over them. Okay. All right. Also, God is not a God of leftovers when it comes to creation. However, he is a God that will give you a fresh start, just like Ruth had a fresh start. And so I cannot stress that enough, that respect is something that is needed in any type of relationship, whether you are married, whether you are in a friendship, mother and son and daughter, there has to be respect there. And so you want to also know that the relationship that you're in, there's also loyalty. And those things are very, very important. All that Naomi and Ruth endured was a part of God's plan, a plan that changed the course of biblical history. And through the history, we know that Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse was the father of David, who would later become king of Israel. God has a purpose and he has a plan, and we may not always understand when we're going through something what the end result is going to be, but God does. So we also want to make sure that we're conscious or cognizant over what it is that God would have us to do for His will, His perfect will. Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Thank you all again for joining. Also, if you would share this live video, that would be I'd be very grateful for that. Also, if you haven't visited my YouTube page, April S. Young, please visit, share as well, and subscribe. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I mentioned early on in the chapter, talking about people may feel like it's popular to have a lot of friends. And remember, the title of the chapter is Your Inner Circle, and choosing your friends wisely. Everybody can't be included in your inner circle. And that may sound kind of harsh or what have you, but you have your friends and you have a nucleus of friends. You have those that you associate with, and you may see every so often. You may go out every so often. Then you have those that are in your inner circle that they know much more about you, things that you may have endured, that you may have shared with them, but the outside friends do not. Hello, James. Thank you. Thank you. How are you, Pastor James? Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining tonight. And so, it's so important and so key that everybody cannot be in your circle. And, some people may not take kindly to that, but they cannot be in your inner circle. And for many reasons. Everybody doesn't have or share what your dreams are, what your passions are. But there are those that are closest to you may understand that this is what God has for you for such a time as this, and they can nurture you, encourage you, and be willing to tell you the truth, even when you don't want to hear the truth. Because sometimes, it takes that person that's closest to you to say, hey, you know what? You need to slow down. You're moving too fast and a thing. And they're telling you this out of concern, and it's okay. It's okay to have someone be true. That's what you want. You want somebody that's going to be honest with you and be truthful enough to tell you that, hey, this may not be the thing for you right at this moment. Okay. More importantly, we share a common bond, and that is our relationship, once again, with the Father. That should be the common bond in everything. You may have some friends that may not be where you are in Christ, but that does not mean that they cannot be your friend. And let me say this. I'm not talking about someone that's going to encourage you to do outside of what you believe. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you may have someone that needs to know that Christ is real. Christ is there for them no matter what they're going through. And so that you can lead them in the way that they should go, and not someone that's going to take you outside of what your belief system is. If you know that you are not one that is a drinker, you know one that you're not one that goes to a club and party all the time, then that friend or that person that you know or associated with will say, hey, well, I need you to hang out with me. Why can't you do this? They need to understand and respect where you stand. And then if it has to come down to the point where you're drawing a line in the sand and say, listen, I love you with the love of God, but I cannot be your friend like this. I can love you from a distance. But because I choose to walk a certain way or go a certain way, does not mean that you can just try to force me or to try to, and you're not forcing them to believe in your belief system at all. But you love them enough to respect the fact that, okay, this is not a good fit for me right now. Let's see. Demetra says, is it true that most people we call friends are only associates? Yes. And that's where you have to determine what a true friend is and who is just your associate. All right, for example, you have people that you work around every day at work. And, sometimes they may get together, may go out and everything. That's fine. They can do that. But would you really call them a friend, so to speak? Are these people that you would bring around your family? Are these people that you would bring around your children? Some people are just associates, and that's okay. It's okay to have associates. Hello, Clear. How are you? Thank you for joining. Hello, Michael. Thank you for joining tonight. And so, you have to determine the true friendship there. And we do have associates in our life. Everybody doesn't come to your house. I have people that I know, I've been knowing for quite a few years. They've never been to my house. It's that relationship where I've established that, okay, I can see you all day long and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we can chit chat, we can talk. But is it someone that I would bring to my house around my family? No, not necessarily. That's an associate. Close friends, people in your inner circle have been to your house. They've been to your house to fellowship. They've had dinner with you in your home. You've been to their home and had dinner. But if you've never been to their home, you've never met anyone in their family, and they've never been to yours, that's 9 times out of 10, that's an associate. That's not really a friend. Okay. Some people believe that if they have a lot of friends, it's secure and they're happy. That's a false sense of security because, once again, everyone is not your friend. They may be an associate. Okay. All right. Many will say they are loyal friends, but who can find one that is truly reliable? And that's Proverbs 26. And I have a quote in here that says, if I have not but one friend that is loyal and committed to our friendship, I render that priceless. That is priceless because, once again, I mentioned earlier, good friends are really hard to come by. But you also have to show yourself friendly as well. You can't say, I don't have any friends and nobody wants to talk to me. Well, you have to make yourself friendly. You know, I tell the story in my book about my friend Terry. And when we were in school, and she came to the school, and girls would look at her and they were so jealous of her. Hi, Monica. How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. And so the girls would look at her and they had all kinds of things to say. And so one day in the cafeteria, and we were all sitting at the table, and they went in on Terry again. And they started talking about her. Who does she think she is? This, that, and the other. I made up my mind that day. I was 14 years old. I made up my mind that day. I was going to get up from that table and leave those girls sitting where they were sitting. And I walked over to the table that was behind us. And I walked over to the girl that they were talking about. And I introduced myself because we hadn't formally met. And I said to her, my name is April. How are you? What is your name? And she told me, do you know that we have been friends since that time? And I was 14 years old. I'm 53 now. That's a long time. But I made a decision not to sit there and listen to those girls because they were jealous of the fact of how she looked. And they had everything, and they didn't even know her. But they wanted to have a conversation about her and saying all kinds of bad, negative things. But you don't know a person. You can always judge somebody on what they look like. But until you get a chance, an opportunity to talk to them and to know them, you can misjudge someone just that quick. And we've been friends for this many years. Suppose I had sat at that same table and agreed with those girls and talked about her, not even knowing her, but just based off of how she looked. And she's beautiful. And decided I wasn't going to talk to her. I would have missed out on a friendship. I would have missed out on so many things that we had done together that was just so fun and crazy. And then we've been through difficult times together. And miss out on that friendship, all because I'm going with the senses, what everybody else is saying. We cannot do that. We have to understand that we have to know someone for ourselves. We can't go based off of what someone else is telling you because you can miss out. It's like you can miss out on a blessing that God has for you, all because you decide that you want to do something that's contrary to what He would have you to do. And I thank God that I was obedient that day and I went over to that table and I introduced myself to her. And once again, we've been friends for all these years. And then we don't talk every day. We don't talk every month. But when we do pick up that phone and talk to each other, it's like we haven't missed a beat. That is a friend. That's a friend. Okay, any questions or comments? Anyone else? Anyone else? While we're talking about close friends. Has anyone out there had to discover that they've had to love someone with the long-handed spoon? And you had a situation happen with you like that? Anybody? I want to talk about this special kind of friend as well. Someone that is always there, always giving you advice on love and what you should do with your man or what have you, always has something to say. And it says, have you ever had a friend that is always willing to give advice on relationships? And she is ever so willing to tell her girlfriends on what to do with your man. However, looking back, she is not in a steady relationship. She's not married. Or all her exes live in Texas. But she's an authority on relationships. But she's more out of a relationship than she is in. How many of you have ever had that experience where there's always somebody willing to tell you what to do and how to do? Friends are great to have, but you want to make sure that there are boundaries set. A friend knows their boundaries and they dare not cross them. It doesn't matter how close you are to a girlfriend. One thing that you should not allow to happen is the fact that you begin to tell all your intimate details about you and your spouse, about you and your friends. Hi, Johnny. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much about your friends. And the next thing you know, it comes back to bite you. And this is somebody you thought you could confide in. There again, we have to use wisdom and discern who our true friends are. And you want to make sure that you're not making the mistake of sharing everything about your personal relationship. That is not healthy. Demetrius, are there any secrets that should be kept from your husband if it was told to you in confidence by a female friend? Hmm. I would have to say it depends on the situation and how the severity of the situation. Um, it's not that you're being wrong towards your husband, but if a sister comes to you or your female friend comes to you in confidence and tells you something, and she's telling you in confidence, I would say for me that it's okay not to say anything to your husband because especially if your husband doesn't have a relationship with that female. I would tread lightly on that. I really would, especially if something's very sensitive. Um, there's some things that my husband, men when they have men get together, I'm sure that when they get together, they don't tell us everything. I know they don't, and it's okay. I don't have an issue with that. So I know that it would be understanding that, as much, even though you're close and that's your best friend, there's some things that are very sensitive that you may not want to discuss with your husband, especially if it's something that's going to affect your friendship with the female. I hope that answers your question. Anyone else? Another comment or question? Anyone else? Hello, Shirley. Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you. God bless you. And we even have to think about Jesus. He had his inner circle. All 12 of his disciples were not in his inner circle. There were three that were very close to him, and they were with him a lot of the time. So, you want to be mindful that the people that you have with you are those that you know that you can share the most, um, I won't say most intimate things, but they know and understand you quite well. Everyone can't fit into that. And sometimes you have situations where your friend or who you thought was a friend turns into a frenemy. That's happened, and relationships have ended abruptly because of something that was detrimental in that relationship, where there was trust and loyalty that was broken in that relationship. And so, like I said, some relationships are just for a season in your life. You made a conscious decision that this person, you're going to move on with your life, and they move on with theirs. And it's just how it is in some cases in life. So, and understand that happens. It does happen it happens to us all. It is also imperative that your husband has friends he can fellowship with on his own as well. My husband and I are together quite a bit, and so when I did, and I've told you for several weeks now that my husband is my best friend, and he is. But there are times when he's going to have to go off with his friends, and I go off with mine, and that's okay. Um, he doesn't try to monopolize my time, and I'm trying to monopolize his time. Although we enjoy our time together, but it's important that you have outside relationships in reference to, he go with the guys sometimes, and I go with the ladies, and what have you. And so, you wanted to know that while you are apart, it gives you time to be able to meditate, get to do a hobby that you like, and it also gives you opportunity to miss one another. Um, I think that's very, very important. That you all have your set of friends, and when you have friends that you have together. So when you have fellowships, My husband and I love to entertain, so in reference to that, we have couples that come over. Um, and so we may have dinner here, we may do a movie night or what have you. But there's that time when we fellowship with friends that we have that are friends with us together, like I said, other couples or whatever. So, I mean, it's different types of friendships, but you have to know, once again, who your friends are and those that are the ones that are able to come to your house and you go to their house and what have you, that time of fellowship. Any other comments, questions? Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we have the words have power, and I always say that words have power, and we should surround ourselves with friends that walk in truth and integrity. Okay. Also, those of you that are just joining on, if you would please share this live video, that would be greatly appreciated. And those of you that have not gone to my YouTube channel, my YouTube is April Young, April S. Young. And if you would like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Thank you so much, you all for joining with me every week. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy the sessions, and I thank you so much for your comments in reference to you enjoying as well. Hello, Gwinnett. How are you? Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Okay. A friend is one, I mentioned before, is one that's not afraid to speak the truth. If I see a friend that's going down a path that's detrimental to them, and that not only will affect them, but affect someone else, it is my obligation and my duty to say something to them as a friend. Love them enough to say, hey, this is going to not only affect you, but it's going to affect your family or what have you. Tell them the truth in love. Never to a point where you're making someone feel bad about what they're doing, or you're trying to tell them that, I'm not going to be your friend if you do this. I mean, you have to tread lightly on that, but you want to love them enough to say, hey, I think you need to really reconsider some things or look at some things. Be a friend enough to let them know that. I also talked about in this chapter about an example of a woman that's not a good friend, and I talked about Jezebel, and she was a conniving and she behaved contrary to the word of God. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for joining tonight. Contrary to the word of God, she was a selfish manipulator without a conscience. And to add insult to injury, she plotted murders against the servants of God. You have to watch out for those who try to manipulate a situation. And I've had a situation that happened to me where there was a young lady who um, was, how can I say, she didn't like the fact that I had other friends. Okay, I'll put it that way. She didn't like the fact that I had other friends. And so she began to manipulate certain situations. And so she would make comments about my friends. She'd even make comments about family. And this is family that I should be concerned about. And so I saw that there was an issue there. And so I said, okay, this person not only is not a true friend, she is someone that she's one of those I'm going to have to love from a distance. If I ran into her in public and say, hey, how you doing? And I keep it moving. Simply because she had a thing where she had to be in control of the situation. Everything was micromanaged in her life, and she wanted to micromanage our friendship. So it wasn't okay for other friends to be around me or to even call me. We could be out in the store somewhere, and one of my friends would call me, and she would immediately get upset. And so with that, I knew I didn't need that in my life, and I was like, okay, I have to cut that off. And I did. But I still love her with the love of God, but she wasn't a true friend. And so, you have to make decisions and decide, if this is worth me having to deal with, as a friend. And it wasn't for me. It wasn't. Hello, Jeanette. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. All right, moving right along. God is a jealous God. And I always talk about having an intimate relationship with Him. And He is a friend indeed for us. And it says in Exodus 25, I, the Lord God, am a jealous God, who will not share your affections with any other God. Believe it or not, things of the people can become a God to us. And so that's one of the dangers that we really truly want to look out for, simply because God is there for us no matter what happens. But the minute we begin to make our spouse, our children, our friends a God, or put them before Him, then that's when we walk into a problem. Hello, Geraldine. Thank you for joining tonight. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for joining tonight. So we just want to be mindful that bottom line is that when people are in our circle, that there's trust, there's respect, and loyalty always in that. Respect, trust, and loyalty. Those are three things that are very important when it comes to looking at friends and then choosing those who are to be in your inner circle. Any other comments or questions right now before we go on? Esther was another woman. She was a woman of influence. I talk about a woman of influence, especially as being a God wife. A God wife is a woman of influence. And so you want to make sure that with everything that you do, you're walking in integrity. And that means your friends that you have around you. And so Esther was a woman that was determined, and she was respected by her husband, King Xerxes. Was respected by her husband enough that she could go before him. And everybody couldn't just go before him. Even she had to have permission to go before him. But when she made the decision to do that, things were changed for her people. And so we have to know that we're leading by example as women of God. And I have some men on here leading example by men as men of God. And so we have to make sure that we represent, first and foremost, Christ. And that when we go before other people, we're leading examples for our children and for their children's children to know that we were respected enough to know that we could be a friend to others. But at the same time, we're loyal, we're committed, and we show love wherever we go and whoever we're a part of in a relationship. Love is so important. And even when you have to cut those ties with people, you still do it with love. You know, there shouldn't be a time when you do anything in bitterness or in anger. You just have to be willing to say, hey, I love you once again with the love of God. But at this season in my life, you know, this is where I'm headed. And so everybody can't go with you when you go into a different phase in your life. And so it may not be easy, but it's necessary. Okay? All right. If you want to know what you look like, look at your friends. I've said this before. Look at your friends. Because, you know, I had a situation where, you know, people will look at you. You have someone say, oh, this is my friend, Susie. And Susie has a foul mouth. Susie wants to get into a fight with everybody, but she's your friend. So when someone looks at Susie as a person that wants to get in a fight all the time and she has a foul mouth, then what do you look like? What do you look like? People are going to assume that you're the same way, you have the same habits. And that may not necessarily be true, but the appearance of it all. You still want to be mindful and careful of that because you could be misjudged for that. People assume that you're the same way, and you may not be. But you want to be careful who you have around you and your circle of friends. There is a great reward in genuine friendship built off of trust and loyalty that will carry you through a lifetime. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for his friends. John 15:13. Jesus loved us enough to lay down his life for us. And we know that is nothing but love. That was the ultimate sacrifice. If there were a friend we would choose, it would be him. We can go to him and share what's on our heart without prejudgment or condemnation. We can share our most intimate secrets, and we do not have to be concerned with it going any further. I have very few friends that I have in my inner circle, and that's true, I do. There have been people who have tried to befriend me, and I soon discovered their true motives were, and I had to make a decision to love them from a distance. And I just told you about that a few minutes ago. And women, I wanna say this to you quickly. Sometimes we have women, and we have a tendency, if we, you know, that there's their underlying jealousy, envy of someone. And I've actually had women. I'm the type of person that when I see someone, I speak. I may not know you, but I speak. I have literally had women to look at me, "Hi, Leisha, how you doing?" And rather than speak, they'll literally roll their eyes and turn their head as if I had said nothing to them. Why? I'm just speaking. And so you have women that may not understand the anointing that may be on your life. They may look at you out the way that you dress and automatically assume that they don't like you. Just like they did with my friend in middle school. When they made up their mind that they weren't going to like her. And I made up my mind that I was going to be her friend. And we've been friends ever since. So you just want to be mindful that you cannot allow someone to say something to you or to do something to you to make you feel less than who God says that you are, regardless. If you like to wear your heels and you like to wear your clothes and you like to dress, not that you're trying to impress anybody, but that's just who you are. And if someone can't accept you for that, then they are not a friend, especially if you wouldn't treat them that. Why do we do that as women? I don't know, Alicia. I don't know why they do that. We should be embracing one another. It's enough that we're getting discredited on our jobs every day. It's enough that we're getting discredited by men who take advantage of the fact that they can just say whatever they want to us, and we're supposed to accept that. But when you see another sister in Christ, or even if she's not in Christ, we're supposed to be able to uphold or uplift our sisters and let them know, hey, I love you just for who you are, or speak. My grandmother used to say, it doesn't cost you a dime to open up your mouth and speak, and it doesn't. It does not. But because someone may have a dress on that looks good on them, that they're wearing the dress, or the dress is wearing them, and you decide, well, you're going to turn your nose and roll your eyes. For what? We get enough of that already. Listen, I don't have a problem telling somebody they look nice. I don't have a problem saying, oh, I love your shoes, or your hair is beautiful, or you're beautiful. I don't have an issue with that. You know why? Because I'm confident in who I am. I wasn't always confident in who I am. But I'm confident who I am. And so if I see someone that looks better than me, she may have on whatever. Hey, you look beautiful. That's pretty. I like that. So I embrace it. We're all beautiful out there. Reverend Constance, hello, how are you? Thank you. I know that's right, Leisha. And Leisha, I'm going to tell you, Leisha is bad to the bone. She is. She's beautiful. What I look like going to her and rolling my eyes because she have on some shoes that I wish I had. Or her hair is always laid. I'm looking at her like, turning my nose up. I see it all the time. It's crazy. Why? Why do that? Why? If you know who and whose you are in him, what somebody has on is not going to affect you. It's not going to bother you. I never understood that. But I'm going to tell you, if I see you and you looking nice, I'm going to tell you. Also, what I found also too as well, you could have, your makeup may run, right? And I've had this happen. But I'm that girl, I'm that sister that would take, hey sis, you got lipstick on your teeth. Hey sis, your eyeliner has run. Oh my God. I've talked to people and I've had makeup run down here, or I may have lipstick on my teeth, and I go to the restroom, or I happen to go look in the mirror, and they didn't say not one word. I am that sister. I'm the one that's gonna take. Hey sis, you might need to get a tissue, or hey sis, you got something on the corner of your eye hanging down. Sis, you got lipstick on your chin, or sis, you got lipstick running down on your chin. Why can't we do that? What is wrong with that? Because I want the next sister, when she goes in front of somebody, to look nice as well. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. So anyway, I got off sidetracked because I thought about a couple things that happened. Why do women do that? We're supposed to be embracing one another. And I'm not even going to get on the skin color thing. You know, the people have an issue with skin color in reference to women. You know, she light skin, oh, she dark skin. Listen, we're all beautiful. God created us different colors for His purpose and His reason. And I see brothers and sisters that are all multicolors. I see it. We're all beautiful in His sight, regardless. We're all beautiful in His sight. Trying to follow you, my beautiful inside and out. That's what I love you too, Leisha. Thank you so much with your beautiful self. Thank you, thank you. Are there any comments or questions? Thank you, sis. Any comments or questions? Because I know Instagram, I'm going to wrap it up for Instagram, but I'll be continuing on with Facebook and YouTube. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. Okay, and I just said it. This sums it up. When you know who and whose you are, there is no need to feel intimidated by another woman. We as women have enough to deal with on a daily basis all right now, and concentrating on what another woman is or not doing. That's not our focus. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be our focus. There should never be a time we allow jealousy or low self-esteem filter into our hearts or our thought process. Do away with that. That's wasted time and energy. I wouldn't give that to pay the essence of air to any of that stuff. Just let it go. Let it go. All right. If you are that person that feels like you are not worthy or you want to be someone that you are not, give it to God. Give it to the Lord. Just give it to Him. All right. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to those who are on Instagram for joining me tonight. Thank you so much. I had a feeling that we weren't going to be able to really get to chapter 8 tonight because I know that chapter 7 was one that was a little bit longer. But I thank you all on Instagram for joining me tonight. I want to say God bless you and just thank you so much. We'll be on next week for those of you on Instagram. I'll be on the same time, 6:30, and I will be discussing chapter 8 and possibly chapter 9 as well. So stay tuned for that. I thank you and God bless you. And I will see you guys on Instagram next week. God bless you. Love you all. Thank you for joining tonight. Okay. Janelle. Hi, Janelle. Thank you for joining. Thank you. God bless you. And so, any comments, any examples that you all, hi, D8 Rose, how are you? Thank you for joining tonight. Any comments in reference to what we've been discussing tonight?
Hello, everybody.
He had to make his cameo appearance. Mr. Young. You have to remember, yes, please, and I'll try to do a reminder midweek. I didn't get a chance to do it this week, but I'll do a reminder for those to come on for next week at 6:30. But it is every Sunday at 6:30. Any other questions, comments? I know, Leisha, what you gonna do with them? And remember, I used to say all the time, I can't take them anywhere, even at home. Okay, God bless you guys. All right, there is a great reward in genuine friendship built off of trust. There's that word trust again. Built off of trust and loyalty that will carry you through a lifetime. That is so important, y'all. It really is. If you can't trust them, why are they even a part of your circle if they can't be trusted? You know, That is key. And respect, again, above all else, respect. You have to be able to respect one another. That is so crucial. Just like a person that has their own fingerprint that is unique and not like anyone else, God has intentionally made each of us as unique in our own right. We, as women of God, need to walk with confidence that we are here to encourage and lift one another up. I said that a few minutes ago. We have to, ladies. We have to. That's so important. Don't tear a sister down. She may not have the same education as you. She may not look like you. She may not be as tall or as short as you. Whatever the case may be. Don't tear another sister down. Always build her up. Oh, hello, Brother Ron. How you doing? Good to see you. He's on tonight. Oh, thank you. Yes, trust is everything in a relationship of any kind and respect. That's right, Leisha. In any relationship, especially when it's someone you look at as like a sister. You know, I will admit I have been hurt in the past by women who said they were my friend. And what I say to you is very crucial that, whatever is going on with you and your spouse or you and your significant other, that you need to keep that with you all. I mean, we can't keep going to this sister and that sister telling her child, he done got on my nerves this week. Lord have mercy, that man is, I had it. That is not the conversation you want to have with your sister. I don't care who it is. I don't care how much you trust them. Do not have those kind of relationships with women like that. I've seen it. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Thank you for joining tonight. I've seen that happen. I've had that happen to me, y'all. I've had it happen to me more times than I can even think of. And in some cases, I didn't even say anything that was personal to them. That's just the type of mindset they had. Their mindset was they wanted what I had. Period. Always build your sisters up. It takes nothing from you. Yes, I too have been hurt by women, and that is why I go out of. Let me see, hold on, Alicia. I can't see the rest of that. It's not coming up. I know that you, Alicia, have gone up your way um, to speak to people and to encourage you. That's just your personality. I know that's how you are. You just have a sweet spirit altogether. And women who hurt other women are hurt women. Period. And so some women feed off of going after somebody else's husband, somebody else's boyfriend, and you trusted them enough because you deemed them as a friend. And the next thing you know, the person you were in a relationship with is in a relationship with that person you were so close to talking to and telling them about your man, about things that you thought that were sacred between the two of you. I've seen it happen too many times. In different stages of my life, I've seen it happen too many times. There's some people that you know that you cannot trust. There's that word again, trust. You have to be careful with that. You want to honor your relationship that you're in. Whether that relationship lasts or not, you want to be mindful of that. Okay, that is why I go to my way to encourage. That's right, encourage other women. And there's some women that I've seen because I recognize low self-esteem when I see it. And I've been in that place. And no matter what, I always try to encourage them and motivate them. To think highly of themselves in reference to them. I'm not talking about pride. I'm talking about think of yourself or love yourself enough to know that you deserve respect. And when you're in a relationship, you have to command that respect. A man is only going to do what you allow him to do in reference to. If he's one that's going to disrespect you, he calls you outside of your name, he's verbally abusive, emotionally, mentally abusive to you, if you allow it, he's going to continue to do it. But at some point, you have got to command the respect. Hello, Sherry. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining tonight. You have to command that respect. When you command the respect, then that respect will be there when it comes to them knowing that you have certain standards. Period. Period. Hello, DJ Marcus. How are you? Thank you for joining tonight. So I have some men on tonight. So some men, please, if you have any comment to make, please, questions or comments, please make it. We're talking about your inner circle, keeping your friends close to you. Any questions, please feel free. Once again, I say to you all, it's not just for women up here, men too. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? Bastante bien. I just want to make sure that you understand that you are important enough. Love yourself enough. God created you with a purpose to know that your thoughts, your feelings do matter. And so you can and should not accept anyone calling you less than anything than what God says you are. We're going to talk about that next week. That's in chapter 8. We're going to talk about that. But you have to understand that love yourself. Love yourself enough and respect yourself enough that you're not going to let just any and everybody in your inner circle. It's not. All right. Questions, comments, anything we discuss. That's right. Yes, command respect from the man. He does what you allow. So that's true. That's true. And you wonder, well, I can't never find a good man and this, that. Well, we attract those type of people, but you haven't found that you're doing something different. What is it that you're doing to keep attracting those same type of men? What is it that you're doing? Sometimes we have to reevaluate the things that we do, things that we say, how we carry ourselves. Sometimes you want something different. You have to do something different if you want to expect different results. So the main things that we did discuss tonight, we talked about trust, respect. And so you want to make sure, and integrity. Integrity is everything. It's everything. Rules of thumb to live by. Choose your friends wisely. There should be very few friends in your inner circle. Everybody can't be in your inner circle. When choosing your friends, know there should never be a time to discuss your husband or marriage with people. Whatever issue you have with your husband or your wife, you have to be able to discuss it with them. And then if you can't get any type of answer that you're looking for, always go to the Father in prayer. He will show you. He will guide you. He will direct you on how to handle or deal with the situation that you're in at that time. Also, learn to make your husband your best friend and agree to keep private what happens between you, just between you. That's not hard to do. It really isn't. Everybody doesn't deserve to share the same space that you do, especially if their motives are wrong. They have no integrity. They can't respect that you have boundaries in your friendship. They can't be your friend. They cannot be your friend. Hello, Robert. Thank you for joining tonight. Thank you. Okay, guys, I want to hear from some of the guys. Now, you all on here, I want to hear some comments or questions that you may have. While we're talking about friends and inner circles and choosing your friends wisely. Exactly. Stop telling all your business to the wrong people. Exactly. Demetrius says, is it okay for your husband to have close female friends? Okay. All right. We done touched on a sensitive area. No. Not always no. And I'll tell you why. I've seen it and I've been around it. I was in a situation before where my ex had nothing but female friends. Count guy friends on one hand, and it didn't count all fingers. It was maybe 2 guy friends, maybe. But everybody was a female friends. um, it's it's a touchy situation because it's not, to me, it's not healthy to have a lot of female friends around, because that raises up a question, because especially if you begin to get too close to that female, and those female friends, your friends, that's what you have to look at as well. If all of y'all are not friends together, no, that's not a good thing. You definitely want to try to avoid that altogether. Mhm.
It don't make a difference.
And look, and from my experience, because I've had it happen to me, it doesn't matter if all of y'all are friends or not. It still stands. It still lends to a sticky situation. So no, I don't think so. And I'm gonna tell you, my husband, he doesn't have a whole lot of female friends. He knows females, and then we know couples. Like we know each other, so we will fellowship with couples. I don't have a lot of guy friends. Do I know guys? Yes, I do. But I don't have a whole lot of guy friends. So we have to respect the boundaries that we have as husband and wife. So if your husband has a whole lot of female friends, that's not good. It's definitely not healthy. So no, I definitely don't think that's a good idea at all.
You can't lump all men in the same
Well,
category.
I'm not. Okay, I guess we're gonna have a guest joining us in a second. Uh, that was Mr. Young. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not lumping all men together. I'm not saying that. But how would your husband feel that if you had a whole lot of close male friends? I don't think he would like it. Most men that I know won't like that. Okay. Yes, DJ Marcus, I know you have some. I know too. Come on, Mr. Marcus, Mr. DJ.
Back up.
You have to have something. Comment, question. We welcome it.
I can take it.
Okay, here we go. We got a man. We got a man now. All right. Now, what is your thought on having female friends? And take the question, baby. I'm just saying that I already asked the question already.
I thought Marcus was about to comment.
Oh no, we want Marcus to comment. We want him to. I don't know if he's going to though.
Oh,
we want him to. I don't know if he's
still up here. No, I'm just saying you can't lump every man in the same category. And I'll say that first and foremost, because all of us aren't the same, even though we are born in the male species.
Uh-huh.
But every guy is not the same.
Yes.
Hey, me too.
Yes. That's true. And you can't lump people in the same. You can't. And I'm not. And please, like I said, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that. I just think wisdom says that's not a good idea.
But the integrity of your man should speak volume for you. So as long as there is no insecurity within the relationship, then I don't see the problem. Because like you stated earlier, even though in some cases you could be friends with the other woman or the guy be friends with the other guy, the integrity of the individual with the friendship should speak volume as well. That's how I look at it. Because if you're secure in your marriage and like you said, you know whose you are and who you are, then there should be a problem. Right. How you walk upright before Christ should speak on your behalf, so there's no issue there. Now, like I said, everybody isn't the same. There may be some guys as well as women out there that have, tendencies. And so if you know they have tendencies, then no, I don't need you to have female friends and I don't need you to have male friends. You have to know that character of that individual. Right. And that's how I see it. Okay. All right. Okay, you make a valid point. Now, Miss Leisha says, women with low self-esteem that are friends with a man can take their kindness the wrong way. Oh, yes, ma'am. Because they are not used to a man being good to them. That is so true. Right. That is so true. I have seen it happen. Absolutely. And so, and I've heard women say, well, I trust my husband. I just don't trust I don't trust you. I don't trust those women. And that could be the case. You have to be able to discern the situation for yourself.
in reference to the motives of the women. Women have a tendency to flaunt their friendship with your husband in appropriate ways. Inappropriate ways. You're right.
Yeah. But even in the same, even in saying that, and I get it, but you still have to be able to manage who you are. And because when you show a sign of insecurity, then they act on that even more. But if you're, and I'm not speaking directly to you, I'm just answering the question. But if you're secure in your marriage, and no matter who it is that may be acting a certain way, if there's an understanding between you and your spouse, and you already know where you guys stand, I could care less how it is. That's just like, I'm being honest. I know I got a beautiful wife. I tell her every day. I tell her all the time. And there's been times when I'm standing up walking right with her. And guys would look past me all in her face as if, as if I'm not there. Am I moved by it? No. But will I be moved by it if that Hebrew open his mouth and say the wrong thing? Then I'm going to address him. I'm not going to address her because God made it this way. Matter of fact, the way she looked was what drew me to her. So I can understand that there's going to be issues or situations that are going to be sticky. But if you are secure in who you are and in your relationship, I care about John Hopkins Brown walking up saying anything to my wife, as long as he referring to one of her books. Anything outside of that, then me and him gonna have talk. And I will quote scripture to him, but I will baptize him at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. You see, I cannot take this man anywhere. Okay. But you understand where we're going with that. Thank you, Alicia. You understand where we're going with that. And any woman that does that and flaunts her relationship with you, she's obviously disrespectful, and she has no business being his friend. Definitely not your friend. Period. Period. Be secure in who and your yes. Your relationship. Exactly. Any other comments or questions about that? Since we're talking about men. I need some more men to speak up if you're out there.
Y'all let me fight this battle by myself. I don't like when they lump us in one category because every man is not the same.
No, every man is not.
Even though people would say otherwise, but every man is not the same.
Hello, Mother Elaine. Miss you. How are you? So the final answer is it's okay as long as you are secure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, because I'm not concerned when you'll be able to pick up on tendencies of your spouse when you got to be concerned. And I mean that's just honest because if you're best friends, you know their tendencies. I don't care what their normal routines are. They will get outside of themselves.
Right.
And you will understand that, hey, this is a bit more than what they're leading me to believe.
Right.
And you can pick up on it. Mm-hmm. I experienced it before myself in my ex relationship. Tendencies are those things that you do constantly. And when they get outside of what they are normally, then we have to look a little bit closer at the subject matter. And when you start to search, God will reveal it to you. I mean, it's like they say, don't go looking for nothing because you're going to find it.
Right.
If it's something there to be found. And I'm just being honest. That's on the man's side. That's on the woman's side. Mm-hmm. So if you are in relationship with your spouse, and it's got to be that way because otherwise you wouldn't be saying spouse. I mean, right. You're in a relationship.
Right.
So put God first. Seek Him. And at the same time, if things in the way in which they do things starts to change, pray and ask Him to reveal it. My wife was a prime example. When we first got together, she didn't understand my tendencies. And I'm not going to expose because it's in the book. You can get the book and read it. But she had to pray to God and ask Him to show you why I did a certain thing the way that I did it. And when she seeked Him, He showed her why I did this and why I had a habit of doing this, that, and the other. He showed those things to her. So that's why I say, in all things, seek ye first
Mm-hmm.
our Father, and He will reveal those things to you that you're questioning when it comes to your significant other. Because, like I said, if their tendencies change, and like I said, they're your best friend, so you know what they do and don't do. But when they start to do the things that are not of regular, then it's time to look a little closer at the situation.
And we have to trust our gut instinct. When
Yeah.
we have
Y'all better than us.
we have an intuition about us that we know when something is not right. And so when it gets to a place where, for me, it's that knot in the stomach, and something is not registering right, something is off somewhere, then that's when you need to pay close attention. But as far as having a bunch of female friends, he never has any male friends or anything like that, or same for the woman. She has guy friends all the time. She hang around with guys all the time. I mean, it's something you just gotta look at closely. But
Right.
like, once again, not out of insecurity, but just knowing that your women's intuition usually is right. Usually is right. Okay. Anyone else? Any other questions? Because before we start to wrap this up, anything else? Any more guys? Any more men?
And I only came on to help us because they was about to take this to another level. Know how y'all do.
I don't think we're going to take it to another level. I mean, But anyone else have a question or comment in reference to that? We're talking about choosing our friends wisely.
Yes.
The inner circle. Anything else before we wrap it up? And thank you guys for participating tonight with the questions. You guys had some great questions and comments tonight. Thank you for joining me tonight. Once again, those of you that have just come on, if you have not gone to my YouTube channel, April S. Young, please do. Please visit my channel, subscribe, like, and share, and as well as the live tonight. Share as well. Stephanie Harris. A true female friend will be respectful towards her friend's wife. Exactly. Thank you, Stephanie. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Mother Prince, I can witness to that when I was married to my ex-husband, was all the way in Korea. Hold on, Mom. Although in Korea, it was just the way, okay. It was just the way he said one phrase that I knew something was rotten.
Thank you.
And a cot, and people tried to tell me otherwise. But you knew within my heart, in your heart of hearts, that there was a change. So as women, you just have to trust yourself and trust God, the God in you.
Yeah.
Amen, Mother Prince.
She's speaking volumes right there. That's everything I just said.
Yes, everything.
Woo. Jesus, thank you, Lord.
Yes,
that's confirmation. That's everything I just said.
Absolutely. And Mother Prince has a lot of wisdom.
Yes, she does.
And she keeps it real. That's what I love about her.
She keeps it real. Like no other.
Oh yeah, beautiful voice. But that's exactly right, Mother Prince. People can say all day long, they can deny all day long. But your intuition, and I believe that's the Holy Spirit telling you when something's not right. And if you're definitely not sure, I promise you, I'm a witness. I am a witness. It's in both of the books. You can go to the Father and ask Him, Lord, show me. Show me. Am I feeling this right? Show me what it is that's going on. I promise you, God will show you what's going on.
Yeah.
I am a living witness.
And my mama said best. And I know she got it from her mama. Because Big Mama, I heard her say it. When I know that I know that I know. Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing you can tell me. Ain't nothing nobody can say. Ain't nothing nobody can try and do. Yeah. When I know that I know that I know. Because I done seeked Him and He done put it in my knower. You can't change that. God is not a man that He shall lie.
That's it. And the Holy Spirit is a revealer. Holy Spirit is a revealer. I'm telling you, it's in this book, How to Get God and Just a Good Wife, and this is my memoir, so it's definitely in this book. Daughter of Thunder, The Calm After the Storm. It is definitely in this book. He will show you every single time. That's right, Demetrius. Every single time. Every time. Trust it. Trust it, trust it, trust it. Yep. Women can be conniving and so can men. On both sides of the coin.
Yep. But it's been good.
Yes, it has been. I'm so glad you had get a cameo this week. We had discussed, but I guess he wanted to defend the men's honor. Demetrius, he will show. Yep, that's right, he will. And I thank God for that. I thank God for him being a revealer to us and showing us and exposing that which needs to be exposed. He'll do it every time. All right, thank you so much, Ada. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Ada. Thank you so much. But I thank God for each of you tuning in every Sunday night at 6:30. I get blessed by it. I get blessed by the comments. I get blessed by your support. And I will say to you that this has been great going over chapters in here. We did get through chapter 7, and in chapter 7 there's a prayer that says in here, um, Father, thank you for showing me how to discern and choose my friends wisely. Help me to be that loyal, trustworthy, and dependable friend you have called me to be. I decree and declare that I am an example of how a godly woman lives, and I want to represent you well. I surrender all fears and any insecurities that I may have. I walk with confidence, integrity, and love that is representative of who you are. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, Kim Harris McBride, for joining tonight. I want to say thank you again for all of you tuning in. If you haven't already gotten the book, this was actually released on May the 1st. Daughter of Thunder, How to Be a God. I'm sorry, How to Be a God. I'm excited now. Daughter of Thunder, the calm after the storm.
Yes.
Okay. And so I also have just a few copies left here. If you want a signed copy, just inbox me and let me know that you do. And so a lot of stuff that I've talked about in reference to intuition, prayer, seeking Him, God revealing, it's in this book. It is in here. This is my memoir. And so I'm very transparent when I talk in this book. And so it is truly my life and how God delivered me from out of so many things in here. And how He is true and faithful to His word. It's in this book. And in this book here, How to Be a God Wife, Not Just a Good Wife, it tells you different nuggets on how to be that wife that God has called you to be. And I have a single chapter here for singles, and knowing that you are worthy in here for single ladies. So walking in your divine wholeness is a chapter for the single ladies. So if you're not a God wife yet and you desire to be, it's in the book. Get the book. I have some of these as well. So just let me know if you want to get signed copies and just inbox me for that. Thank you all so much. I love you guys and I definitely appreciate you all. You all have been a blessing to me. You have encouraged me more than you could ever know. And it is my aim to be able to minister to you, to be able to encourage you and to inspire you to be the very best you that you can be. And we can all do that through Christ Jesus.
Yes.
I thank you for that, and I love you all for your support. If there's anything that we talked about and you haven't had a chance to comment or have a question about, please also feel free to, inbox me. Inbox me, and if there's anything that you want to discuss, it doesn't have to necessarily be something that we've gone over, but something that you may want to know in reference to God, wife, or what have you. Just inbox me and let me know. Oh, thank you, Henry and Freda. Love you guys. Oh, we love you guys too. We love you.
Prime example of a godly union.
Yes.
A blessed union.
Bless you. Blessed couple. And so we thank you and we love you guys. I will be here again next Sunday at 6:30. And we'll be going over chapter 8 next week and possibly chapter 9. Just depending on how far, because sometimes it gets good, and so we end up being at some place and we don't finish. We finished it, thank God, but sometimes we may not be able to get to the next chapter. So join me next week for chapter 8. I love you guys. You all enjoy the rest of your evening, and also have a blessed week. And please, 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 please stay safe. All right, guys, we love you. God bless you, and good night, Leisha. Oh, let's see. buffering like crazy. Have a great, you have a great day. We love you, Alicia.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Yep. Thank y'all.
Be blessed.
I
Both so much. Oh,
put your eyes on, baby.
I can keep my eyes on. I'm sorry. I love you both. Oh, thank you, Mama Prince. I love you, and I miss you. I miss our talks. I miss you so much. I miss laughing with you. You are such a beautiful person inside and out. I love you, love you, love you.
I need a cake too. and 2 songs.
And 2 songs.
Cake and 2 songs.
A cake and 2 songs. You hear that, Mama? A cake and 2 songs. I tell you, he's a mess all by himself. But anyway, guys, you all be blessed. Thank you again. I love you guys, and we'll talk to you next time. I'm going to do a reminder in the middle of the week, and we'll be here again next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. sharp. All right, 5:30 Central Standard Time. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.
I want yours. Bye.
Bye. Love you. Oh, love her, love her, love her.